Hello there, past, present, and future Dungeons & Dragons players and Dungeon Masters. Welcome to the character sheet explanation. This is for both players and Dungeon Masters who are new to D&D and don't quite know how the character sheet works. So I'm going to be doing this in two sections, one on D&D Beyond, link down below if you want to go and check that out, or we'll be doing a physical character sheet because technology is for nerds. So without any further ado, the magic of the character sheet will now be upon you. So, when you go into D&D Beyond and you've created your character, which we will cover in another video, this is generally what it will look like. I have drawn up a sheet from a previous campaign that I have played, and this is the give or take gist of what you're going to see. First things first, your 6 main stats are at the top bar, which is your strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. That's generally where you're going to put it in after you and your Dungeon Master have rolled these stats for your characters. And each of those stats will do different things depending on your character class and what you want to accomplish with your character. Some may be good. I've rolled a God tier character, but you're not always going to be rolling real good stats for this. After that, you've got your proficiency bonus, which adds to certain things which you are proficient in. Being proficient in something means you're just really good at it. So that can be anything from deception to athletics to aerobics to whatever it is you want to do. I don't mean aerobics, but you can be proficient in aerobics. It's up to you. After that, you've got your walking speed, and this is dependent on each race that you play. Some races are faster, some races are slower, but you'll learn that when you make your character. After that, you've got your heroic inspiration. This you'll only use if a bard is present in the party, either as part of your player party or as an NPC. That is where you'll click that. After that, you've got your current HP and your max HP, and you can really just adjust this based on the damage that you've taken, or you can just say you took 10 damage, you press enter, and this will pop up. So I've taken 10 damage, apply the changes, and look at that. Now I only have 11 HP. I'm a bard, I can heal myself, so not to worry about that. You've got your saving throws. Now these saving throws are what you're going to be using for when your Dungeon Master tells you, please make a saving throw based on your charisma, your wisdom, or your strength. These are also part of your main stats, but they filter through into your supplementary stats as well. I currently have an A, which means advantage. So I get saving throws against being charmed, and magic cannot put me to sleep. This is a half-elf trait, so that is great. So I can't be put to sleep. That is wonderful. Next to that, you've got all of your supplementary or additional skills. Now, these skills are based on your main stats, but also have their own things attached to that. Dexterity is for acrobatics, so your acrobatic skills. I've got a +4 bonus, so anytime the Dungeon Master tells me to do an acrobatics check, I add +4 to that, and that is where these stats will come in, and your Dungeon Master will have a copy of this, so they can also check what you are proficient in, either on a sheet or on D&D Beyond, and they will help you, just in case you can't find it, because as you can see, there are quite a lot of stats. Don't mind the performance and the persuasion. I'm a bard. These are stock standard things for us. Right next to that, you've got your initiative. Initiative is what starts a combat process. So you will have a initiative bonus. Some classes may have an initiative bonus. I have a +3. Some classes may not have an initiative bonus, which means you'll get less initiative. That does happen. If you have that, good luck in your campaign. After that, you've got your armor class. This is the physical armor that you are wearing, whether it's light, medium, or heavy armor. You can also have no armor, which means this stat will drop, but that is where you will find your armor class. This will help your Dungeon Master if they roll and ask you, does this hit or miss? To qualify for a hit, it has to match the number or above. If it does not hit, it has to be 1 lower than the number and below. In this case, I have 13, so a 13 and above will hit, which means I will take damage. A 12 and lower means it'll miss, and I get to laugh at the enemy. After that, I've got defenses, magical sleep. I cannot be put to sleep because of my half-elf traits. After that, any conditions I may have. Now, this might be charmed, this might be poison, this might be frozen, this might be burning. These are where you'll add your conditions should something happen to your character in the middle of a fight. Going back, you've got your senses. Now, these are like your passive stats that you have. Now, this is broken up into passive perception, passive investigation, and passive insight. Sometimes in certain situations, your Dungeon Master will ask you, what is your passive perception? You might see out the corner of your eye someone dealing something under the table. If your passive perception is high enough, you might see it. If not, you generally just ignore it. And you can see I also have dark vision for 60 feet, which means in the dark I can see 60 feet ahead of me, another half-elf trait. Moving just one down, these are your proficiencies and your training. So you can see I am proficient in using light armor only. So if I had to move up to medium armor, that would be something I would have to learn, or I get a negative bonus to my armor class because I'm not proficient in wearing this, or I just plain cannot use it. The weapons that I'm proficient in, a crossbow, my fisticuffs because bards can fight with their hands, longsword, rapier, short sword, simple weapons. I cannot use anything outside of this because I am not proficient, which means I will get a negative stat to that. Your tools, bards generally have one type of instrument that they carry with them. Mine happens to be a bagpipe, but this is where those tools for your character will come in. And then your languages. Which languages are you proficient in? You will choose these when you create your character along with your Dungeon Master. You can only have 3 unless you learn a spell that allows you to learn more than these languages. This little area over here will give you everything you need for your class, your actions, your spells, your inventory, features and traits, your character background, notes, and any extras. So your actions are everything that you are able to do within a round of combat, whether this is a physical attack with a weapon or your hands, or casting any spells. They are an action. Some spells might work as a bonus action, which means you can cast that additionally in the round along with your action. You only have 3 things that you can do in a combat round. You've got your movement, your action, and your bonus action. A reaction is something that can happen when an enemy is targeting you. That's the only time you can use your reaction unless you hold your action, but I'll explain that in a later video not to confuse you. On my actions, we can select our attacks just to make it a little bit easier. So these are the weapons that I can use, and they tell you what kind of damage I can do. So we'll take a crossbow. I have a range of 30 feet that I can shoot the crossbow at. I get an extra +4 to the attack roll. So when you roll, your Dungeon Master will tell you roll a d20. You will roll depending on the number. You will add a +4, and then that will dictate if you hit or miss. Should I hit, I take 1d6 +2 damage for the enemy. So I will roll 1d6 and add 2 to it, and that is a piercing attack, which we will again cover later on. These are my actions. So again, all of your attacks constitute an action. I have an unarmed strike, so those will be all your actions. My bonus actions, I've got Bardic Inspiration. I can use that as a bonus action. I do not have any spells besides Healing Word that I can use as a bonus action. If my allies are hurt, as a bonus action, I can cast Healing Word and then use my action to attack or do whatever else. For my reaction, I have Opportunity of Attack. So if an enemy gets out of my melee range, I have an opportunity to hit them, and I have Cutting Words. And anything else you might have there. So your limited use is also certain spells that you can only use, or certain objects you can only use for a certain amount of time. You've also got your spell inventory. So these are all the spells that I can cast, whether at 1st level or 2nd level. You've got your inventory. So this is everything that your character currently has on them. This constitutes the amount of ammo. If you are playing anything that has range combat, remember you have to replenish ammo and mark it in here. Otherwise, the Dungeon Master is going to say, hey, listen, do you still have ammo for that crossbow? If not, you can't use the crossbow. You've got your features and your traits. These are everything with your class features, as well as maybe your species features, your race features. Your class features will tell you exactly what your class has as features. In this case, a bard, I've got Bardic Inspiration, certain spell casting that I can use my charisma for, and more of those things. Your species traits are here to show you what your race traits are that you have picked, and you have certain advantages and disadvantages that come with each race. And then the features that you have picked, but features are only something that you get the higher your character level goes. This character is level 3, so I don't have any features chosen as of yet. We're not going to discuss any feats at the moment. After that, you've got your character background, and this really is just going to tell you what is your character's background. You can make a background for your character, but these backgrounds kind of give you something to work off of for your character. You've got your characteristics, so this will tell you your character's alignment, and this can change based on the environment, what you do, as well as what your party does, and whether you objectify to it or you let it happen. Your character's alignment can change. You've also got your appearance. You can describe your character's appearance if you want to do that. Generally, your dungeon master will ask you to tell your party what you look like. It's always a good idea to note this down, because sometimes maybe you forget you got like a scar over the eye, and that could be something very important for your character's story. Your notes is very important. You've got organizations, allies, enemies, your backstory, and any other notes. Make sure to add notes here if your dungeon master is giving you specific NPCs or story-driven objectives. These are really good to keep because dungeon masters can't keep track of everything at all times. So remember that, because we also struggle. And then any extras you want to add for this. Now, these are all on D&D Beyond. But what if we don't want to toy around with technology? Well, ta-da! This is what you get without technology. This is the OG D&D character sheet. Now, there's two sides to this, but generally what you saw in D&D Beyond is about the same thing. So up here, we've got your character's name. Over here, you've got your character's level, their background, your player name, not the actual character's name, their race, their alignment, and any experience points. And the reason that is currently on NA is because your dungeon master will tell you whether you guys are doing experience points or milestone-based achievements. Over here are your 6 main stats. So you got strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And that's where you're going to fill out those important main stats. Over here, you've got inspiration, that if you get bardic inspiration, you could just draw a little circle there and say, cool, I'm inspired. You've got your proficiency bonuses. You've got your 6 saving throw stats, and you can see that I have made a little color here which shows that I'm proficient with charisma saving throws. Over here are your supplementary skills and stats. You can see acrobatics all the way to survival. I have marked these two as my main proficiencies, so performance and persuasion, because I am a bard. Down here you've got your other proficiencies. This is where you will fill them in. Over here is my passive perception, and you'll only see that stat on here on the sheet, but you can put the other ones that we discussed on D&D Beyond here in your other proficiencies as well. I've also put my languages here, so Common, Dwarvish, and Elvish. You'll fill in where you need to fill in. You've got your armor class over there, your initiative, and your move speed. Over here we've got our hit point maximum, as well as our current hit points. So I currently have taken no damage. We also have our temporary hit points. These you can get from spells, from your healers, your clerics, or even from yourself as a bard, depending on how you've skilled. We've got our hit dice. I haven't put any in because I haven't thrown any health potions, but that's where you put your hit dice in should you throw any health potions. We've also got our death saving throws over here, so you've got your failures and you've got your death saves, so that is also part and parcel of what you're going to need here. Next, we've got our attacks and spell casting, so you'll find those over here. You can see I've added my crossbow and my dagger, what attack bonus I get, and what damage I will do. Down here, you'll notice that I have put these out. So you'll see CP, SP, EP, CP, and PP. Don't laugh. CP is for your copper pieces, your silver pieces is SP, EP, your electrum pieces, your GP is your gold pieces. It's not CP, it's GP. And then PP is your platinum pieces. That is your currency. These are also in your backpack. As part of your equipment, there's daggers, bagpipes, crossbow. This is what I'm carrying, but this is what you'll put in here. Moving then further on, you've got your character's personality traits, their ideals, their bonds, and their flaws. Make sure to fill these in because this can help for your story later on. You've also got your features and traits all the way down here in this little section, and this will help you with your class traits and more. But that's not all. Ta-da! Another sheet. Huzzah! Make sure you get like a flip folder or a file so you can easily flip through your character sheet. But again, my character name, I've got my age, my eyes, my skin, my height, my hair, and my weight. So this is more a character description here. I can't draw at all, but you can describe your character in their character appearance if you aren't, artistically inclined like myself. We've also got allies and organizations, and these are the notes that we were talking about earlier. So make sure that you put those particular notes that your Dungeon Master will give you in this section. Further on, you've got your additional features and traits. These can be your species traits. They can be anything else regarding your traits, so you'll want to make sure you put things in there. You've also got your treasure here. So your treasures are something you'll find in your adventures, right? Everyone likes a little bit of loot. So this is where you're going to put your loot. And last but not least, your tragic character background story, because this is a D&D staple, people. If you don't put your character backstory and it isn't tragic, you're not doing D&D correct. And that right there is your character sheet explanation. I hope you guys did enjoy that, and you've been well informed now on how to fill out one of these or on D&D Beyond. Whichever one you want to be. Do you want to be technologically inclined or do it the way the OGs did it? It doesn't matter as long as you're having fun. If that was informative enough, please let me know, and I hope you guys enjoy that. Please consider subscribing for more D&D information just like this. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment section below, and if you have anything else you would like us to cover, let me know in the comment section down below. And until next time, may the dice roll good for you.